Hey everyone, welcome back to Tactical Magic. This is Molly Mandelberg, your host, and I am very excited to be bringing a return guest to the show with me today. So one of the things I really love is finding tools and obviously support and mentorship and guidance that allow me to overcome whatever has been stopping me in my tracks. Things that help me unpack the internal blocks and limitations, help me look at and address the emotions or the shadow parts, and help me step forward into something greater that I might not have even known was possible before. One of the tools that's helped me do that in my life is called EFT, Emotional Freedom Technique. And I have had the miraculous Amanda Ferrat on my show before, but wanted to bring them back so that you could get some more of this magic. If you've been, I know the holidays are just over as this episode is releasing. If you're listening to this in the future, you're probably also still living in a wild and crazy world. But there's a lot of things in this life to process, a lot of emotions that come up. So hopefully this episode will be helpful for you. Hang tight. We'll be back in just a sec. It's not just about mastering technology. It's not just about brand or messaging. It's not just about making more money. It's about showing up in a big way so your people can find you. This is about bringing your most wild and authentic self into the hustle and grind. Welcome to Tactical Magic, a business strategies podcast for the warrior goddess entrepreneur. Awesome. So Amanda Ferrat, founder of Value Yourself Counseling, is a certified advanced EFT practitioner and wellness counselor that helps women, gender expansive folks, and teens break through emotional and psychological barriers and limitations often placed upon us by oppressive or patriarchal systems. Amanda helps her clients regain power by taking back their narrative and rewriting it in a way that allows them to embody their inner badass and obtain emotional freedom. Welcome to the show, Amanda.
Thanks for having me back. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, I'm super excited to have you here too. So last time we talked, we went a little through, how Amanda ended up doing what she's doing now. If you want to hear that, you can pause this, go back to that episode from 2021, and then come back and pick up where we left off. But let's just get into the new stuff. So what's running a business as an EFT practitioner like right now, and how are these tools? Tell us a little bit about EFT in case people don't go back to that other episode too.
Yeah. So like you said, it stands for Emotional Freedom Techniques. It is a wonderful practice that combines both somatic and the psychology pieces and allows us to kind of literally tap into our emotions and move through them in a way that honors them and not just kind of stuffs them away or gaslights them as some other therapies tend to do to our emotions. We really get to honor, sit with, allow, vent out, and then move through our emotions. And so it's been a tool that I've used in my own healing and now get to pay it forward and help other people heal and become best friends with their emotions through this tool.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's a really powerful practice too. And I kind of want to point out that the points that we tap on, we have like a natural, I think, knowing of those points in some ways. Like when someone's really stressed, they end up like rubbing their forehead or like squeezing their fingers. And it's like those places on our body that actually soothe us through a really heightened emotion are the exact same places that we're tapping into when we're trying to use EFT to like tap through an emotion. So we do this naturally. And I think that's almost like proof of these being real points that actually work. But yeah, what are some of the cool things that can happen or that EFT is designed to support us with?
So I've helped people with everything from, moms that feel stuck and that they've lost their 20-year-old self that was so confident and knew what they wanted in the world, to teenagers that are dealing with anxiety and depression that have had to live through a pandemic and deal with all the changing things in our world. So it's a really beautiful tool in that it can be adapted and used for so many things and so many people, but it's definitely getting traction as an evidence-based practice around things like anxiety, depression, PTSD. And what I love about the work that I do is the quick transformation, that it goes in fast and deep and immediately kind of starts to get things moving. That's why I decided to become an EFT practitioner, is because the instant I started to follow along with a live tapping, I felt a huge energetic shift and a big release, tears flowing. And so that's what I offer to other people. So what I am seeing is that there's still some resistance, right? That people don't fully understand what EFT is, or they get kind of scared of it because of what they've heard, or they know the power of it and they're not quite ready for it yet. And to those people, I just want to say, if you find a good practitioner or find a way to like kind of dip your toes and get it started, you won't regret it, I promise. Because the magic of it is in the freedom that it gives us. It's in its name. And it really truly does give us the freedom to respond to our emotions, our stressful events, memories, limiting beliefs, thought patterns in a way that we have sovereignty, autonomy, power, authority. It embodies us in ourselves in being an emotional being, right? Like we can't completely detach from our emotions. There's certain practices out there that would like us to think that we can or that we should. I'm totally against that. I believe we need to feel our emotions. They're here because they're a natural part of our brains that are a part of us in order to keep us safe and alive. And if we learn how to tap literally into them and through them, then we can go from surviving to thriving. And that's actually my motto for 2023, right? Is that I'm going to continue to move from surviving to thriving in my own life. And so that's the work I like to do with others, is helping them learn how to use EFT in a way that then helps them move from either stuckness or just survival mode or coping at that bare minimum to thriving and feeling like they are in the driver's seat.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. And I like that. I mean, I think a lot of people maybe avoid therapy, or they avoid something that sounds like it's going to be emotional, because they don't want to feel that emotion anymore. And they fear feeling it all the way, and that will create some sort of a collapse or a, complete destruction that they don't know they can come back from. So like, I understand that. And I will say, I've spent many years of my life in that boat of I'd rather just push it down and not feel it than actually address it. And one of the beautiful things about EFT is that as you're using the tapping to go into that emotion, to explore what's under there, to actually like be with yourself in that way, you're not feeling that heightened emotion increase as you do it. You're actually decreasing the charge of that emotion as you're going along, as you're digging deeper into those layers. So it's actually like one of the most soothing ways to unpack or do shadow work, in my interesting point of view and my experience too, because you're not going like, you don't have to go full-fledged collapse to then be addressing those things, even though that's what we expect has to happen.
Yes, because the somatic part of tapping, right, where we are tapping on the acupressure meridian points, or even there's such a thing as finger tapping, right? So as soon as you start tapping, what you're doing is you're signaling to the amygdala and your sympathetic nervous system and all those systems that are heightened and alive in fight or flight or any of those kind of emotional responses. You're letting them calm down. You're signaling them to them that it's okay. Take a deep breath. Literally, often if you get into a good tapping session, you'll find yourself yawning, or getting kind of sleepy because you're literally like relaxing. And so when you get into that relaxed state, you can access higher thinking, higher consciousness. You're not just back here in primal brain, you're actually up here in, your higher developed centers, and able to move through things with some thought, some clarity. And it's not just that primal fight or flight. You've literally gone into your body and calmed those systems down. And so it creates a safer, braver way to look at those things that are scarier or more difficult, right? I don't believe that any emotion is bad or negative. Some are just a lot more difficult to feel or face. And I love the method that I'm trained in, because we are trained in ways to really truly keep our clients and ourselves safe, because the subconscious will sometimes throw something up that, oh wait, no, wait, I want to pump the brakes on that one, I'm not ready for that. And I'm trained in how to kind of package that back up and put it away safely, so that the container that we're tapping in always stays feeling like a safer, braver space for those emotions to be held and experienced and moved through.
Yeah. And it's a powerful thing to be held in that container with a facilitator too. Because I mean, when I started learning tapping, I was just following YouTube videos, but you can't quite see your blind spots when you do that. And it's a lot more helpful for somebody to be asking you the questions and guiding you there. And it just feels safer too, to like actually go deeper into the unpacking when you have someone supporting you like that. So I know you serve groups and you help women and gender expansive folks. And you also do work with teens. Can we just talk about teens for just a second? Because I know you do one-on-one work with teens, and it's such a cool thing to resource a teenager who's like full-blown emotion, hormones, like crazy, trying to figure out who the hell they are, and like sometimes even dealing with really challenging things in their family life or in their friend lives. So what's that work like? Like what's possible for a teenager who gets these tools at that age?
Right. So teenagers, they don't have fully developed frontal lobes yet, right? Their brain chemistry is still back here, kind of middle primal brain. And like you said, the keyword hormones, those hormones are flooding the amygdala. And that's where, some of the emotions come in too. And that's also why, like, people joke about teens and how much they eat. Well, the amygdala is part of how much we eat and our sense of smell and all these things, right? So that center in those teens' brains is just being bombarded by so much. And now in an age where we have technology, and so they're constantly plugged into social media and screens, and you could not pay me to go back and be a teen now. Like, I'm so glad I didn't grow up with social media. But tapping then again allows us to go in and calm those systems down and start to sort through all that mess of external messaging, hormones, brain chemistry, and just kind of give them a second to take a breath and kind of settle in and kind of center themselves, and then start to dig through. And it also helps them build emotional intelligence, right? They're not going to, especially the work that I do, one of the first sessions and things we do is kind of sit down and assess what their emotional intelligence is, what their emotion examples have been, right? Like what kind of communication styles happen in their family? What have they learned about emotions? Do they feel like emotions are good or bad? And start to unpack that, and then just get them in a different relationship with their emotions. And that helps them build communication skills so that they can advocate for themselves. It allows them to learn how to kind of speak up. It allows for them to learn how to regulate instead of, just having a big explosive response. They can respond in a way that is either calmer or more articulate, or, gets them a better result. Because, often a lot of adults, teens are just so dramatic. And I was the drama queen and still often get dubbed that by my family. We're working on that, right? And it's like, no, there's just a lot of emotional and hormonal things going on. And when you dig down and understand the developmental stages and brain chemistry, and then the extra societal socialization, psychology behind it all, tapping is amazing because, again, it can get in there and it kind of quiets all the messy, noisy stuff, and then allows us to pull at the threads that need that kind of tender, loving care, and again, build those skills. I'm all about helping people have a really well-resourced toolbox. And that doesn't often happen for teens. Assumptions are made, or it can just, depending upon how they were raised or what their environment is. And you see teens turning to things like TikTok. And I actually, like, there's certain things on TikTok that I love that have helped me learn more about mental health and stuff. And so, like you said earlier, you can find the YouTubes, you can find the TikTok and things to follow for tapping. But I have loved, in the last year, I've been able to speak to a few different groups of teens and adolescents, whether it was, mental health clubs or homeschool programs or things like that, and have gotten them, taught them the basics of tapping, and have gotten immediate feedback of, oh my gosh, this is so amazing. This is so cool how this works. I feel calmer. Like I could go take a nap. Or, I have had ones where we have stopped a session and I've given them permission. No, go ahead, go take a nap. Like rest, take care of yourself. And then they are able to just come back and navigate things with a lot more confidence and clarity and empowerment. Like, it's really cool to empower teens and get to see them feel like they've got a little bit of autonomy and control.
Yeah. And autonomy is in like having options when it comes to how you react. Because a lot of times and I'll be honest, for me, I had such reactivity without the emotional intelligence or without the emotional support that I needed as a teen, that those patterns can last for years. Those patterns of reactivity can last for decades sometimes, or lifetimes. And by resourcing these people when they're at that kind of pivotal formation stage of being a teenager, resourcing them with ways to calm themselves down, to like neutralize that activated state, and have a tool right there in their toolbox, literally their hands, that they have with them most of the time if they have two of them, or even one of them if they only have one.
Right.
Or you can probably tap with, other devices if you can. But to have access to that and to be able to be resourced in that way, it really is. That's a sense of autonomy and sovereignty that I feel like just will support them for so many years to come. And giving them that awareness, even that you have a choice of how activated you get, and you have options to deactivate if you get into that state. Yeah, I just imagine like what a world would be like if everyone had tools like this,
Well, one of my clients, she actually, we were kind of checking in. I'm like, are you using your tapping and how are you using it? And she will ask for a break to go to the bathroom and go tap in the bathroom at school and then come back to class and rejoin whatever situation was kind of having her, start to get on edge. And, in this situation, a lot of teens, there's pressure to perform, right? Tapping can help with perfectionism and that pressure. And there's also, I grew up impacted by suicide. I'm a big advocate around mental health and reducing the stigma around suicide and talking about what, leads us there. And there is now evidence-based practice coming out more and more that this is a tool that is effective in reducing suicidality among teens. And that's extremely important to me because I have an uncle that I never got to meet because he died by suicide as a teenager before I was born. Mm-hmm. And I've lost students that I knew, I've lost friends. And so the fact that this is a tool that can literally impact such a big thing in an immediate and a positive way is really important and powerful to me.
Yeah. And it's really easy. I mean, it's easy to learn how to do, and it's easy to use it even when you're in an activated state. Yeah, it's super powerful. So you're doing tapping. You have many different ways you can do this. So I'll just say, working with somebody one-on-one to get deep onto those levels for tapping is a really, really smart idea. Anyone who is out there listening who's like, yeah, I have some reactivity, or, I've really been feeling crappy about that relationship or the stress of this new job for so long. I wish I could just have some way to like shift that now. Having somebody support you one-on-one with tapping is really powerful, but you also have workshops and mastermind groups and stuff like that. Tell us a little bit about the other ways that people get to work with you.
Yeah. So I love to teach and educate. So I hold workshops all the time. And I kind of am somebody that likes to get creative. So sometimes they're themed for whatever the month or kind of season is. But this spring, I will be having a mastermind come up. I don't have the name yet. I've got to go back and go through Create, Launch, Deliver again to get all that details worked out. But it's definitely going to be focused on self-love and self-care, because a big umbrella of the work I do is focused on whole person self-care. And you kind of can't have self-love without self-care, and vice versa. And I know that those are things that, women especially are struggling with. So that will launch this spring. And I'm super excited about having that container where we as women can kind of come together and just get real about what gets in our way, what makes us feel like we aren't worthy, and unpack that and send these women back out into the world, loving themselves, taking really good care of themselves, and just have that, see that ripple go out into the world of that compassion and love.
Yeah. I will say life is dramatically different when you're coming from a place of loving yourself. Like everything you do comes from a different place when at the very least you've got your back and you fucking mean it. It's different. Yeah. Super valuable, super important. And like your relationships are different when you're coming from that place. The partnerships you can create, your like relation to your work when you're caring for you on a deep level, it's so much easier to show up for other people, to show up for tasks that you have to complete. Like life is so much less exhausting when you love yourself in a real way. So that's super important, super powerful work. And I love that you're bringing that to the world, bringing that, embodying the inner badass and obtaining emotional freedom in the process. Yeah, it's really good stuff. So we've only got a few minutes left. I just wanted to ask, because beautiful, magical Amanda is also happens to be finishing up her first round of Magnetic Influencer Collective, which is my 6-month program. And yeah, I just wanted to ask, how's that been for you? What's that been like? Has it been a good experience?
It has been. And, like there were some concerns at the start. I was a little nervous about the container because, again, when you get a group of women together, like there's dynamics that can come up. And so I was nervous about that. And it's been an amazing experience for myself. I've had to kind of learn how to trust and kind of, push my growth edges a little bit, which has been great because it's been received so beautifully by this wonderful group of women. And we've all supported each other in so many different ways over the last few months. And that impact has impacted not only me personally, but professionally. My business energetics are shifting and changing. And, we're recording this right around the solstice. And so I get some time over the next couple of weeks to kind of sit in deep reflection and kind of figure out what I want to come forward. And I don't think I would have had the mindset shifts that I'm like really embodying right now without magic the last several months. It's shifted. I just wrote an article on gratitude for Tillamook County Wellness that I'm a part of. And there's research out there showing how gratitude literally helps also kind of rewire and change the brain. And part of magic is, you have us write down 3 things we're grateful for. And even though I kind of had what I call an attitude of gratitude before, the practices that you have us do in magic are literally rewiring our brains, rewiring our mindsets in a way that is just like, I can't even fully put towards it because I'm still integrating it all. But I know that 2023 is going to be a completely different year for me because I've been in magic for the last several months.
Yeah. Awesome. I feel really happy hearing that, of course. But yeah, I mean, that's the whole point. And that's the same with the work that you're doing here, is when we make it a practice to actually like change the program, to like rewrite the story, to create a new habit or a new ritual or adopt a new technique or modality or process and like use it, everything in our life can change and everything in our business can change. And the energy we carry around everything in our life, the energy we carry around running our businesses and showing up in that way can change and be something greater than we thought was possible before. And that, in my opinion, is like the work worth doing. So I'm really grateful that you joined us for Magic. I'll just say for anyone out there listening, Magic, the doors are open right now. If you're listening to this in January 2023, the first call for this round of Magic starts on January 31st. So if you want to join us, you can go to wildheartsriseup.com/magic and check that out. I would love to have you there. There's limited spots. So if you want to be in and you're not quite sure, you want to have a conversation with me, let me know. I'm happy to have a chat with you and make sure it's a good fit. But yeah, it's a really beautiful adventure. And the amount of like energetic shifts and actual tangible business like successes that we've had in this past round has been so fun to watch and so fun to happen.
Well, I just, in the last several months, I have a new way of looking at my business. I'm still a solopreneur, right, who's building a business, but my business is my partner, and it is my partner in my purpose in this world. And I say that like I get choked up because what a beautiful way to look at what I'm doing and why I'm doing it, right? It refuels that why. It keeps that very present. And I keep showing up. Being an entrepreneur is not an easy journey by any means. It is not for the faint of heart, especially when you're doing this kind of work that is so emotional and so deep. And I have to trust myself and I have to ask others to trust me as well. That's a big energetic exchange. But I now have this whole new perspective on my business, that she is my partner in my purpose in this world. And that just feels like a big, warm, cozy hug from someone you love very, very much versus getting up every day, I have to go do this thing. It's like, no, I get to go build this business that is putting my purpose into the world and changing lives.
Yeah, totally. I hope that some people went back and listened to the first episode with you too, because just the like grounded presence and the like clarity and the confidence that you speak about your business with now is very different than it was a year ago or a year and a half ago. It's amazing. Yeah. And yeah, I'm honored to get to have walked part of that journey with you, but that's also like all you choosing to stay with it and level up and make a partner out of your business that was, I think as solopreneurs, sometimes we misidentify and misapply our business as us and that we are our business. And so then when it's not doing well, we're like making ourselves wrong instead of like teaming up with our business, asking it, what do you want to create? What do you want to see happen? Like, how can we partner in this so that both of us are thriving? And that's just a different place to be coming at our businesses from in general. Yeah. So I know a lot of people listening are, leaning in, okay, how do I get some of this Amanda stuff? What are the best places for people to get a hold of you? Where can people follow you and learn more and all that?
Yeah. So I have a campsite bio site. So campsite.bio/VYC, which is just value yourself counseling. So VYC. But I do have my website, valueyourselfcounseling.com. I'm also on Instagram. Again, just under Value Yourself Counseling. So those are the places I show up the most. I would love for you to join my email list. I've always got fun freebies to send out. And if you would like some support, I offer free 30-minute badass breakthrough sessions where you can come and get some support. And if you sign up for a badass breakthrough session and let me know you found me through Molly and Wild Hearts Rise Up, I will send you a free permission slip.
Ooh, permission granted. How about that? I love it. Yes. And honestly, Amanda's getting busier and busier as you go along. So those sessions might not be free. If you go to her website in the future and you don't see that free session anymore, you can probably still sign up for a low cost consult or something like that. But if you're listening to this, I would say go snag one of those sessions as soon as possible before her schedule fills up. And take advantage of this. It's an opportunity to get some real support without having to put any money down and see if this modality is for you. See what can change in half an hour. See if you feel a shift. And maybe this modality is something you've been waiting for or hoping for or can get some serious shift out of. So valueyourselfcounseling.com or campsite.bio/VYC. Definitely check out Value Yourself Counseling on Instagram too. She's putting great stuff up there all the time. Thank you so much, Amanda, for being on the show again. And thank you for taking that magical journey with me the last 6 months.
Thank you for having me. I have enjoyed having you on this journey with my business. It's been invaluable. I appreciate you so much, Molly.
Yeah, I appreciate you too. Awesome. Thank you everyone out there for listening. If you like this episode, please share it with a friend. Maybe send it to a teenager who might be like, I could use some tools like that. And whatever happens, keep asking big questions and taking bold action because you are here for a reason. Bye.